numbers came in, right? And only 22,000 jobs were added. And we all know Syphilitic Sid has said that maybe there won't be any numbers for at least 2, maybe 3 years until we can, get the numbers right. Whatever that means. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Did y'all see them farmers in Arkansas who are now begging Syphilitic Sid to help them? They are asking for a bailout. And I don't understand if they don't understand that a bailout is basically welfare for farmers. Now, mind you, I got no issues with farmers, right? Because without them, we wouldn't have, cabbages, broccoli, whatever, vegetables, right? Right, green beans, vegetables, tomatoes, whatever. But the fact that these people all voted overwhelmingly for Syphilitic Sid, now they're asking him to bail them out. And you know what he said? We're going to have to see how it goes. Because, there are more important issues. Like that $200 million ballroom.
On today's episode of Fuck Around and Find Out for MAGA, Arkansas. The farmers in Arkansas are now crying and whining, begging and pleading their state representative for help because the votes that they put in for the big beautiful bill has now come back to bite them in the ass, and they don't know what to do. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So just a couple days ago, it was reported by several news stations, especially, ABC, NBC, all of them, that the farmers they came together and was like, look, shit not working out. Not only are the prices soaring entirely too high, but ever since, for all of 2025 and practically half of 2024, farming ain't been the same. It's been shit. They haven't been able to make much of a profit, and even worse, they've been barely breaking even, baby, barely. But mind you, while the article itself does go deep into the issues that are happening in Arkansas, some of the issues could have been prevented, some of them couldn't have, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. There's been several storms in 2025. The most major one was the recent one that they had that destroyed well over 250,000 of the crops, right? So boom, had you voted accurately, those subsidiaries that were supposed to protect you in case this inclement weather shit happened, or if FEMA or anybody else that's supposed to be representing the farmers because it's a $1 billion industry, would have already been in place. So basically, they get up on the mic and they like, yeah, me, my son, my dad, and my daddy's dad, and my peepaw, my great granddaddy. I come from 6 generations of farming, and we are all about to lose our farms. Yeah, because that's what you voted for. You voted for someone who destroyed the tariffs. Then who literally went into tariff wars with the same people that manufacture the equipment that you buy for the low ski. Yeah, you voted for that man who went to tariff war with the person who builds, creates, manufactures, puts it together, ships it over, all for a fraction of the price of the equipment that you would be getting made on American soil that is just eventually going to break the fuck down. You voted for that guy. Then you voted for the hands that help ensure that y'all are able to get the crops up and that you're able to manage said crops no matter come rain, hail, sleet, or snow. They out there and they getting it done. Then if that ain't worse, y'all also was loud and proud about your support of the big, beautiful bill. Even after y'all saw the shit that he had did to y'all initially. And that he wasn't actually going to fulfill any of the promises that he had made. Baby, you voted for this. Then they said, well, what happened to the subsidiaries that's supposed to protect all the farmers? They said, oh yeah, the money isn't the issue. The state told them farmers, looked them dead in their face and said, the money isn't the issue. The money is there. They said, well, why can't we get relief? Why can't we get help? They said, because the access to the money ain't supposed to be until 2026. I'm sorry. You voted for the money to be accessed in 2026, not 2025. So you got to figure it out. You're going to have to find a way to make it enough. I don't know what to tell you, but I can't give it to you until 2026. Sorry. I swear to God, I got the article. Y'all want to see? Hundreds of struggling farmers ask federal government to save them. You mean the same federal government that y'all voted for? That did this to y'all? That put in a safety net, but unfortunately you don't have the access code quite yet. They said access denied. Sorry. As you can see in this article, it says here almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas's farmers went wrong this year, leaving many facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. Well. Damn, Ancestors is working overtime right now. Not the generational wealth being at stake. And the best part about it is you did this. You voted for this. You voted for your generational wealth. You telling us about your son and how he's supposed to be 7th generation. You voted for it, baby. Ain't gonna be no 7th generation. Ain't gonna be no 7th generation, baby. They said it, nothing we can do about it. I'm so sorry. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices means there's little hope of breaking even as input costs soar because of inflation and tariffs. Read it in motherfucking week. The consequences of your own actions. Yours. Nobody else's but yours. All you had to do was read it in motherfucking week. All you had to do was read. Pay it to comprehend. And they set y'all asses up. The party you voted for sets you up for failure. Promised you the world and delivered nothing but a hole in the motherfucking penny. Then that man had the audacity to get up in front of the whole world in the Oval Office and hold up a bunch of graphs to prove to the investors, the international investors, that America's economy actually is flourishing and it's on the up and up. The graphs he used was the rising amounts of unemployment and inflation annually. And they made sure the font was too small for anybody to read it. When somebody zoomed in on it. That was the inflation rates. That was also the rates of unemployment. It was a cross comparative analyzation of the inflation rates and it being linked to the unemployment rates. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. Like, sorry to those men's, sorry to those families. Like, better luck next vote. You got 3 more years of this. We're not even through the first year. We told you. We begged y'all not to do this to yourselves. And you did it anyways. First it was, oh, maybe we should not have voted for immigration. You fucking think? Now, not only do you not have anyone who's going to manage those fields the way that they were managed before, but you also can't even break even because the costs are continuously rising due to tariffs and inflation. And you voted for it. Shit.
So the farmers in Arkansas are quite literally begging the government for money.
Almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year. And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, are closer.
In case you didn't know, Trump put a tariff on all fertilizer, seed, and other things that farmers need. And a lot of these farmers were part of the U.S. aid. The U.S. aid contracted these farmers to make things like soybeans and rice. But now Trump slashed almost all of the U.S. aid, and it is leaving farmers going bankrupt. Because God forbid we send food to foreign countries, and now those farmers are out of a job. Most of these farmers voted for this, and now they are asking for government handouts. When Trump said he was going to defund all of these programs, also implement all of these tariffs, did you really think that you would not be affected by all of this? Are you that gullible?
Guess who just got the tea about what's going over on MAGA sides, specifically with the farmers in Arkansas? Child, them Trump tariffs is kicking their asses so bad that at the most recent NEA meeting representative assembly that took place on Friday, the farmers in Arkansas all collectively broke down in prayer. They started calling on to God. They started calling on to God because they cannot trust that Donald Trump is actually going to keep his word. See, the big beautiful bill, which a lot of these Arkansas farmers voted for, and the Trump administration is currently renaming because it did not accurately describe what was in the bill, promised a lot of the people in the agriculture industry benefits that a lot of these businesses will not live to see as they all take effect in 2026, 2027. Late 2026 and early 2027 to be exact. But like I stated, a lot of those businesses will not be around long enough to see it come into fruition. Apparently around that time, a quarter of the farming industry in Arkansas will be out of business. You already know that I always come with the evidence. I always have the clip. So stay tuned for the clip provided by ABC7.
The government steps in to save them. Farmers had no one to turn to but God.
Farmers are lobbying. It's all they're closer to daily meetings on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. You know, we're hurting anymore. We can't deal with what's happened to us.
Dear Lord, we are hurting here, Lord. We can't help what has happened to us. You actually could have helped it because you could have voted against it. Y'all could have voted for Kamala, but like you stated, she has a weird laugh. And here's a screenshot of the article. You can go and find it. Let's read along to the title. People have little sympathy for the Arkansas farmers who are asking Trump for emergency funding to save their farms. And because they can't trust on Trump to actually come through with these emergency funds, they started praying. I probably should have highlighted what I'm about to read, but it's in quotations at the top. It says, "I have never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on." Welcome to the mentality of the average Black American here. Welcome to the mentality of the average Hispanic Latino person here. Welcome to the mentality of the average marginalized group member here in America. And to think that all of this could have been avoided, had you just listened to those same marginalized groups. If you would have just listened to the Black Americans here in this country, to the 92%, if you would have just listened. And now, ironically, the same tool that you used to oppress the marginalized groups in this country, the Black Americans in this country, the formerly enslaved people of America, religion, Christianity, prayer, is now the only tool that you can rely on because you can't trust in your government to look out for you. You can't trust in your government to help you. How fucking ironic. And just a reminder, because I know y'all like to forget, right? Anytime, historically speaking, by the way, the Black Americans of this country stated that they needed help, they wanted to be treated fairly, they wanted equality, you told them to pray harder. You sent them to church. You told them to pray harder. That if it's really meant for them, all they had to do was pray harder and God was going to hear them. So that's my advice to you, you farmers in Arkansas. Pray harder, okay? Just keep praying. However, I do have a strong inkling that we are not praying to the same gods. I know the God that I pray to. There's only one. I don't know what you're praying to, but pray harder, okay? God bless America.
Here we go again. Another fuck around and find out moment. This one, Arkansas farmers. Yep, Arkansas farmers who voted overwhelmingly for President Trump. Well, here's a quote from one of those Arkansas farmers, and I'm going to do it in my best Arkansas accent. "Right now, we're in a very dire situation. September is upon us. Harvest is starting in the deep south, and we have 0 bushels of soybeans on the books to be sold to China. Yeah, no shit. You voted for the tariff guy. And now Arkansas farmers want a handout. They want federal assistance. This poor ass red state that votes Republican every freaking year, they want a handout. You damn socialists. I guess you're finding out that racism sure is expansive, huh? Fucking